All right, Mark, thank you. Investigators are digging into cold cases involving sexual assaults in Louisville.
WDRB's Darby Bean tells us what tools police are using to bring answers to victims decades after the crimes. Darby?
LMPD and Kentucky State Police are trying to find answers on cases that go back to the 1970s. Just last week, we learned about new charges in a rape case reported by a teenager nearly 20 years ago, after investigators say they've now found a DNA match. A Louisville rape case from 2005, unsolved for years. Kentucky State Police say DNA led to a suspect already behind bars.
The name and the DNA came together. It was a completely unknown suspect.
Records from the Department of Corrections show Rodrigo English has been in and out of prison since the 90s for various convictions. He's currently serving a sentence for robbery. Through the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, a team of LMPD and KSP investigators are digging into other cold cases, hoping each one can one day have answers.
There's absolute hope. We have a tenacious team, and we're tracking them down. If we can get viable DNA, we're going to do it.
LMPD says this year alone, around 900 cases have been reported to the Special Victims Unit. That includes sex crimes, human trafficking, internet crimes against children, and more. And while those cases are investigated, Sergeant Samantha Trenholm and her team work specifically on cold cases from years, sometimes decades ago, trying to find clues.
The time frame you're looking at here is 1975 until 2017. The federal government came in on a grant and said, do you have any unsolved sexual assault kits? Louisville, unfortunately, had 2,401.
Of those, she says the team is following up on any hits in CODIS, the database that allows law enforcement to compare DNA profiles and identify suspects. She says around 1,400 cases came back showing insufficient DNA, but says technology is improving and a second phase could lead to more testing and possibly answers.
Up to this point, all we have tested are the kits. We have not tested any of the physical evidence in the cases.
That means items like clothing or other collected evidence.
That might have physical evidence that we can send off and get viable DNA. So we're not losing hope.
When that phase can begin, she says, depends on funding. As for the case from 2005, that suspect, Rodrigo English, was in court today. He's charged with kidnapping and rape and is scheduled to be back in court in January. Darby Bean, WDRB News.